Very smart one time told me never to invoke the Holocaust unless you absolutely have to, because you never want to use it in an analogy. You never want to compare your political opponents to Hitler or to Nazis. And you definitely don't want to compare the suffering of Jews during the Holocaust to the suffering of any other people. And she kind of almost did that in a way. So the fact that Jesse Waters is giving advice to anybody else on how not to be offensive, let that sink in, Representative Tlaib, because we've come a long way. But looking at the context of what she said, she was more clumsy than she was anti-Semitic. But there was a little anti-Semitism strain in there, and that's about revising the history of the Holocaust. And it's a slippery slope, because when you talk about what Greg said, the Palestinian leadership did not welcome the resettlement of the Jews with open arms.
That's what she said.
They met with Adolf Hitler. They sided with Adolf Hitler. And then since that time period, the Palestinians and the entire Arab world has tried to exterminate the Jewish people. If you look at anything that anybody said in Iran, in Iraq, in Saudi Arabia, that's their entire agenda. That's what people have trouble with, her whitewashing history. And then when she's attacked for it, saying, oh, you know, I will not be silenced.
Can I add just for the bigger thing, because this happens a lot. We see this, the Republicans will straw man an argument after the Democrats straw man an argument when they hear a quote by somebody on the Five, right?
It was not a great quote.
Yeah, and then you seek the worst possible interpretation of a quote. This is the contagion that the media has infected the world with, which is that when you say something, I'm going to think that it's the worst. The left does it to us, we do it to them.
And the Washington Post, who actually defended her here, is guilty of the exact same thing that Republicans do all the time, and now they're on their high horse talking about context. But they always remove context when they attack Republicans.
But it's also beyond just this statement alone. As I mentioned before, you have Democrats on her side of the aisle calling her out for the policies that she supports. The Zionist Organization of America recently called on the Democratic Party to kick her out, kick her off committees. They name terrorists and sympathizers that she associates herself with. So I think this is much deeper than just this simple comment.
So in other words,
I'm telling you, this is what the Zionist Organization of America said.
Everybody is this way or that way, and you're with the Zionists, and the Zionists
do you support the BDS movement?
Are you kidding me? I don't but I'm trying to say you can't trust the Zionists to go after Tlaib. But again, I'm sure that morning newspapers will say, well, President Trump tweeted about it, so we've got to say Representative Tlaib creates a controversy. No, Trump created the controversy, and the Republicans created it.
But you just did the same thing you're accusing her of. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to have two polarizing positions.
It is in this situation. I know we all sat here and said the woman was taken out of context.
She was sloppy, and she got taken to the woodshed for it. That's all it is.
Well, and that was our A block. Bill Nye, the science guy, attacking Republicans with a foul-mouthed defense of climate